And Daryl, this is why the black church is failing. Other than the fact that it's providing information that is completely falsified, it's providing information that does not help to bring about the greatness of any community, other than the ones who take the oppressive side of the religion, who ones who engage in violence. But for the ones who have not yet engaged in violence and are being oppressed, this your mentality demonstrates why the black church is failing. Is failing the community because you're saying that the apostles were told that they should only be taking care of the people within the congregation, that the money that they collected are to be distributed to the church members equally. Okay, so if the money is to be distributed to the church members equally, tell me, why is it that there are more testimonies of Christians saying that when they went to their church denied them act service. When they went to their church said, no, we can't pay your rent. We can't pay your mortgage. When they went to their church, that they were told these things, that if you hadn't been, you might have been coming to the church, but you skipped a few times that you tithe. Not that you didn't tithe at all, but you skipped a few times. And because you haven't been a faithful servant in your tithing, this is why you now can't receive the benefit of helping from the church. Now, those people who are in the clique of the church, those who are in the higher ministries, in the choir, doing these kinds of things, they seem to get help more often because they closer to the people who make the decision. They have a familiar relationship with them. But you say that it is reasonable that you can't help everybody in the community. That's not part of the same family. Not part of the same family. Interesting that you would say that when your Jesus talked about the Good Samaritan. Think about it now. The man was on the side of the road. People kept passing by who was in the family as far as ethnicity. But it was a Samaritan who wasn't in the family, a cousin, who helped that man out. Your Jesus used that as a parable to talk about helping other people who you shouldn't normally help out. The centurion came to Jesus and said, hey, can you heal my kid? Can you heal my servant, rather? And and Jesus was like, yeah, sure, I go to your house. And he was like, nah, bro, you can't come to my house. But can you just heal the dude? And Jesus did the healing. Not part of the same family. When the Canaanite woman begged Jesus to heal her daughter from the demons, and after Jesus called her a dog, called her a biat, then she had to say, hey, look, I respect that you refer to me as a dog, but hey, I still need this. And he healed her, right? Not in the same family. So when you say that you ain't supposed to be doing these things that because unless you're in the same family, is that an example of your Jesus? Aren't you supposed to be trying to be Christ-like, Jesus-like? Yes, sarcasm. But aren't you supposed to be trying to be that way? But yet, when it comes to reality, you are defending the church more than you're defending what the belief is, what the belief should be. See, you should have taken the video I made and said, you know what? I need to be like Martin Luther and try to reform the church. See, Martin Luther wasn't trying to get rid of Catholicism. He was trying to reform Catholicism. So you should be trying to reform the church. You should have taken what I said and said, you know what? The church does need to be more responsible for the community. Because how do you help people? You help people first by showing how much you're willing to help them. It's as simple as that. You want great employees, show them how much you're willing to help them. You want a great community, you a teacher, you want great students, show how much you want to help them. This is what we do in the Marine Corps. We make sure that our Marines are well taken care of, make sure that their lifestyles, their home, everything is taken care of so that we can get the best out of them. You take care of your people. That's how you do it. The church don't do that. They don't take care of the people in the community. They just want to be a beacon, a place, nice, shiny white building with a big cross on top so that the people can say, ooh and ah. But the people still are in need. And you don't do anything about that. Now, you said that now if you're randomly, do I randomly give folks my money that in the streets and everything? Uh, I do it sometimes. Most of the time I don't, because I believe in being responsible for where my money goes. You know, I'm not going to give my money to a person that I suspect is probably just going to drink it up or drug it up. So no, I don't. But do I help organizations that I have trust in? Yes. Do I have to though? That's the question. Do I have to? And I don't. I am not up under any mandate that says that I must provide for the widows and the orphans. But you are under a mandate that says that you must provide for widows and orphans. Now, it doesn't say widows and orphans in your church. It just says widows and orphans. It's just talking about the ones within your community. And in all honesty, it's talking about the ones in your community more than anything else. So I don't have to give if I don't want to. There's no mandate for me to do so. I don't have to help people, as there's no mandate. There's no book. I don't have a book that tells me that I have to give to widows and orphans, that there are guidelines to how I give. I, as a person who wants to be treated the same way who treats people the same way I want to be treated, I give to people simply because I choose to, simply because it's within my nature to do so. Is who I've decided that I'm going to be. So I don't have to be a good person based on a book. I'm just a good person because I choose to be a good person. Because if you need a book in order for you to help the community, if you need a guideline from a book as to who you help in the community, I consider that the mindset of a psychopath. Because without that book, what would you do? How much tyranny would you create? How much destruction would you create? So, yeah, the black church is failing the black community. If the black church was actually being a benefit to the black community, you would see a great renaissance in the black community. If the churches in Atlanta that I put forth a program to would have just followed that program, the 96% of the 16% of poor people in Atlanta, and you got to understand what I'm saying. Out of the 16% of people under who are impoverished in Atlanta, 96% of that 16% are black. You understand? So that wouldn't be, that stat wouldn't exist, because the church by now, we're talking, it would have been 30 years in the process. There would have been a renaissance in the black community, because the black church would have been the focal point of helping black people uh, understand, learn, involve themselves in building their own communities. And in building their own communities, the children who would have grown up in that would have grew up with the mindset of how to build and the value of their community. That's how a renaissance is started. So maybe Daryl, you'll go start a black renaissance in a black church, because your book tells you to. So y'all have a great day, and always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.